A bar graph is a fundamental visual representation tool used in data analysis and statistics. It provides a clear and concise way to display and compare categorical data. Good day, everyone. My name is Riza Lupango. We're Group 3, and this presentation is all about bar graphs. So for the learning objectives, at the end of this video, we should be able to identify and learn the history of the bar graph and understand the origin and evolution of bar graph as a visual representation tool for data analysis. Description. Gain a comprehensive understanding of a bar graph, its component, and how it's effectively present data. Definition of terms. Familiarize yourself with key terminology associated with bar graph, ensuring clear communication and interpretation. Steps and procedure. Learn the systematic approach to creating and interpreting bar graphs, ensuring accuracy and reliability in data representation. Samples, problems. Practice constructing bar graphs from the given sets, reinforcing your grasp of the concept. Solutions. Analyze the solution to the sample problems, ensuring that you are able to correctly construct and interpret bar graphs. Interpretation and answer. Understand how you extract meaningful insights from a bar graph, making it a powerful tool for data-driven decision-making. Lastly is conclusion, generalization. Summarize the key takeaways from the study of a bar graphs. Highlight their significance in conveying data effectively.
The history of the bar graph traces its origin to the 18th century, notably with Joseph Priestley, the early use of bars to represent letter frequencies in the English alphabet. However, it was William Playfair who made a groundbreaking contribution in 1786 by introducing the lineal bar chart in his work, The Commercial and Political Atlas. Playfair's innovation featured bars of varying lengths to convey complex data more effectively. Over time, the bar graph underwent significant evolution, incorporating design enhancement like colors, labels, and scales to improve clarity and accessibility. By the 20th century, it had become an essential tool in various fields, including economics, science, business, and education, facilitating the communication of data to a broader audience. With the advent of the digital age and computer technology, creating and customizing bar graphs became even more accessible, further expanding its utility. Today, bar graphs remain pivotal in data visualization, aiding in presentations, reports, and publications to present information in a visually engaging and easily understandable format.
The graphic representation of data using a bar is called a bar graph. It is also referred to as a bar chart. It is frequently used for displaying contrast between discrete or categorical data. The graph has two axes, vertical axis and horizontal axis. So the vertical axis illustrates the numerical value corresponding to each category or group, while the horizontal axis represents the comparisons that are being made.
Definition of terms. Bar graph. The graphic representation of data using bars, also referred to as chart bar. It is frequently used for displaying contrast between discrete or categorical data. Categorical data is a type of information that can be stored and identified based on their names or labels. Linear bar chart. A bar line graph is a visual representation of data sets using three parameters, x-axis and y-axis for bars, and a third parameter for the line over the bar, based on different items or observations. Vertical lines, y-axis, illustrates the numerical values corresponding to each category or group. Horizontal axis, x-axis, represents the comparisons that are being made.
Okay, so for the steps or procedure of bar graph, step 1 is collect the data for your graph. Since bar graph is a comparative study, make sure you collect the data for all the categories. For step 2 is draw the axis. The axis I'm talking about is the x and y axis. So y, taas, horizontal is the x-axis. Step 3 is after making the axis, label it, and next step is the step 4. Step 4 is draw the columns and set the values to their corresponding frequency. And the last step is step 5, which is the interpret the data. In interpreting the data, we will find out the most and the least preferred choices, and we will also identify the outliers.
So, in the sample problem, students of University of Cebu were polled about their favorite coffee shop around the school in a survey. In the survey, we used frequency of visits to know how many students will dine in a certain coffee shop, and also to know what are the common coffee shops around the university. So here we can see the sample results we collected from the students. Here we can see the frequency of visits. Let's start with the Boss Coffee. We collected 16, and Coffee Bean have 5, Tightrope 12, and Coco Black 8, and lastly UCC have 5. And from the collected data, we can now draw a bar graph using the frequencies of the different coffee shops. So now we can easily spot the most common coffee shop and the least visited coffee shop around the university.
According to visual observation, Bus Coffee was preferred by 16 students. Coffee Bean was preferred by 5 students. Tightrope was preferred by 12 students. Coco Black was preferred by 8 students. UCC was preferred by 5 students.
So the data from the bar graph suggests that the most preferred coffee shop by UC students is Bo's Coffee, while the least preferred coffee shop is UCC and Coffee Bean.
Bar graph can be horizontal or vertical. This can be illustrated before consideration of the data. The bar graph origin of definition has a visual representation of our daily lives. This can apply to our data analysis and everyday situation.